I get this question all the time as an online lawyer who helps creators and online entrepreneurs with the legal side of their business. And the question is, when should I form an LLC or limited liability company? So my answer every single time is yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. So obviously my lawyerly response would be to do this right away before you even earn a dollar because legal is not retroactive. But let me provide you with a more realistic response and some questions to ask yourself to see if it makes sense for you to form an LLC. First, let's cover what an LLC even is for and why you might want to form it. When you're first starting out, you may choose to be what's known as a sole proprietorship or sole trader, which is just the legal term for an individual who's doing business without a formal business entity registration. It is by far the simplest and most common form of running a business where one person owns and operates the business. In fact, you are the business and the business is you. So you are personally responsible for all of the business's debts and obligations. This means your personal assets like your car, your house, your money could be at risk if the business fails to pay its debts and obligations. This can feel really scary as a business owner. And so instead you have the option, in the United States only, to form what's known as an LLC. An LLC is what creates that legal barrier between your personal assets and finances and then the business's debts, obligations, expenses, or finances. And that's because the LLC becomes a separate entity from you. What does this personal liability protection mean? This means that if the business gets into trouble, your personal belongings are generally safe. But you have to run an LLC like an LLC to keep that liability protection. I'll cover more of that in the next video. Okay, so you know what an LLC is for, but does it make sense for your personal circumstances and business needs? I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions to help you really figure out if it makes sense for you. And the first question is, what is the cost to start and operate an LLC in your state? This will be the initial filing fees, the annual reporting fees, and any franchise tax. You'll want to research online what is the cost to file that initial LLC paperwork, which is often called the Articles of Organization. And also look up what the annual reporting requirements are, if any, and what those associated fees are going to be. Then look up any mandatory minimum annual tax or franchise fee. Now, based on these costs, does it financially make sense for you to file the LLC and maintain it to have that personal liability protection? The second question is, how much money will you be making or do you plan to make in your business? Because let's be honest, the more money you come across, the more problems you see. You will become a target and you will want to minimize that risk. But more importantly, when you earn around $100,000 net profits, it might make sense to elect to be taxed as what's known as an S Corp. And being an LLC will help you do that. There are tax advantages to being taxed as an S Corp, but it is best to speak with a tax professional once you earn those moderate profits to see if the administrative costs like running payroll outweigh the tax savings. Remember that an S Corp is not a separate business entity, but rather a tax election that is available for LLCs and corporations. And the final question to ask yourself is, how committed are you to this business? Are you just trying this business out, or do you have long-term goals? The more committed you are to your business and its future, the more likely you are to invest in its legal foundation, and you'll want to set it up for scalability from the beginning. But if you are just trying things out, then it might make sense to just wait until you're earning money to then reinvest that money back into your business and then file the paperwork and transition your business from a sole proprietorship to an LLC, even if this does create more paperwork for you, because otherwise, you are building a foundation for business that may not have a future and you'll have to dissolve it. If you're committed, then why wait? If you're just starting out and not sure, don't let forming or not forming an LLC be the reason you don't start, as you can always form it later with the understanding that you won't have that liability protection without the LLC. Overall, just remember to make business legal decisions based on what's best for you and your business needs, instead of copying and applying those cookie cutter legal advice to all aspects of your business. Let me know in the comments below if you have questions and I can answer those in future videos.